Chapter 2. I fall. A scream rips from me. The cold wind carries me in a spiral of fast-moving air. I open my eyes, which for some reason I had kept shut until now. There's nothing around me. Really, nothing. I face a clear blue summer sky. Panic rises in my chest. I'm still falling. Where in the world am I? In my right fist, I hold the sleeve of a black sweater that flutters over my head like a helium-filled balloon. It does nothing to slow me down. Then I remember. Geez, the balcony! I lost balance. I should have landed on the ground by now and broken each and every little bone in my body. So why the heck haven't I? I turn and look down. Cotton candy clouds float beneath me. I can see my shadow on the fluffy white mass as I near them, and seconds later I fall right through them. My scream fades to a terrified whimper. As I emerge from the clouds, I finally see land beneath me. Luscious green hills, a thick jungle, and in the distance, colorful houses dotting an old seaport. The island I'm speeding toward is shaped like a half moon. There's nothing beneath to break my fall. This is insane. People don't just fall right out of the sky. I pull the sweater to my chest and hug it tight with trembling arms. Oh God, I'm going to be a mesh in a minute. I'm coming down too fast on the jungle. The Caribbean blue water surrounding the island fades from my view. All there is below me are trees and bushes. A taller tree stands out from a little clearing, and I miss the white top by a few feet. As I zoom past the top branches, I catch a glimpse of a face between the leaves. The person attached to it shoots forward and stops at the end of the longest branch. Holy cow! There's a boy in a grass-green tee and brown leather pants scaling the branches of the tree. He follows my fall with his surprised gaze, then he cups his hands around his mouth and shouts, "Watch out! It's raining girls today!" It takes me a moment to realize he's not speaking to me, but to a group of boys on the ground. Boys that I'm going to squash in seconds. They all tilt their heads up and stare at me with stunned expressions. And then the weirdest thing happens. Out of nowhere, each of them pulls a black umbrella, and they all stretch it, as though I could be fended off like rain. Are they nuts? Facing my end, I shriek the hell out of my lungs. But right before I land, something catches me and lifts me high in the air again. It's the guy in the green t-shirt who saves me. "Oh, girl, you scream like a tortured pig. Mind stopping that?" he says, grimacing, and cuddles me tight against his chest as he freaking flies with me over the jungle. My mouth wide open, I fall silent and gaze at his face. An instant later, my arms wrap around his neck in a death hold. He turns a sly grin at me. "Hi there." I say nothing. I just can't believe it. This boy appears a little younger than I am, looks totally normal, with blue eyes, thick brown hairs and all, but he's sailing on the thermal wind like a kite. And I with him. "Are you afraid of flying?" he asks me. I don't know. My craw comes out. I think that I'm usually not, but then I don't remember ever being carried across the sky like this. "Well, if you are, you shouldn't be jumping off clouds, you know." I wasn't. A slippery balcony railing should have sealed my death. Then again, what if I was dead? And this was the other side. I pinch the boy's cheek and he yips. Thank goodness he felt that. No dreaming and no waking up in heaven. A relieved sigh escapes through my clenched teeth. The guy lands on his feet by his friends, all teenagers by the looks of them, with me still in his arms. Carefully he releases first my legs and waits until I stand steadily on the grassy ground in the small clearing before he loosens his grip on me. He's a few inches taller than me and slim. Doesn't his mother feed him enough? But then he's probably not fully grown yet. Most boys around 16 look a little underfed. He holds out his hand. "I'm Peter Pan. With some reluctance, I shake it. I begin, but that's all. For some strange reason, there's no information about myself stored in my mind. What the hell? He tilts his chin low and searches my face. You forgot your own name? Obviously, I admit, totally forlorn, scrunching up my face. And what's worse, I have no idea why I just fell out of the sky. You don't know what you did in the clouds, Peter demands. No! The last thing I remember was falling down the side of our house back in London. It's winter. Everything should be covered in... Uncertain, I look around and add, snow. Where's London? One of the boys whispers to another. And what's snow? I don't know, says the other. Maybe she lost her mind. Ooh, that's bad, the first one whispers back, loud enough for everybody to hear. I bet Hook hit her with a cannonball. I run my fingers through my hair and look down at myself. Everything seems just fine. I sure wasn't hit by a stupid cannonball. What's this? Peter takes my hand once again and twists it so that the inside of my wrist is up. Angel, he reads out loud. Maybe that's your name? Would make sense you have it tattooed on you since you seem to forget it. I examine the purple letters on my skin. Stars are brushed beneath the name. Is this real? It looks familiar, but I don't remember when I had one done. Rubbing my thumb over the tattoo doesn't make it disappear. Could be, I agree with Peter. Well then, nice to meet you, Angel, he cheers and shakes my hand again, as if we just met. Welcome to Neverland. Neverland? I test the sound of the word on my tongue. The name rings a bell, somewhere far back in my mind. Too far for me to put a finger on. Whatever. I've always been a slouch in geography. Not so much in physics, though. I do know for a fact that humans shouldn't be able to fly. So the really nagging question is this. Is Neverland real, or am I just about to go gaga? When Peter releases me, the boys grab my hand, one after the other, and rather enthusiastically introduce themselves. They all look between 14 and 16 years old, but they jump up and down like excited preschoolers. Hi, Angel, I'm Skippy, one of them shouts in my face. He has amazingly big ears and huge round eyes. He reminds me a bit of an elf, though he has inclined teeth like a troll. I'm Sparky, says the next, already taking my left hand before Skippy even lets go of my right. This is Toby and I'm Stan. How are you doing, Angel? I'm Loney. My name's Skippy. Yeah, we heard that before. I'm Toby. I'm Sparky. Skippy, that's me. More handshaking and I'm getting a little dizzy. The guys pull on my arms and make me twist from one side to the other. They laugh and keep telling me their names as if each time was the first. Lost boys, leave her alone. Peter Pan shouts over the noise, and I have my hands back to myself. I throw him a grateful look. He nods, then steps forward and picks up the sweater that I dropped when they all got so excited about me. As he holds it up and glances at the front, his brows knit together. Are you friends with Captain Hook? I mirror his expression. Captain who? Knowing his question has something to do with what he sees on my sweater, I reach for it, but Peter pulls it away quickly. Then he pushes off the ground and levitates out of my reach. It's totally crazy to see this boy flying like a freaking balloon. Captain Hook, he repeats with a scowling growl, and turns my sweater around so everybody sees the Pirates of the Caribbean image on the front. It's a skull with a bandana and crossed torches burned behind it. All the boys suck in a loud breath and jump one step back. 2 for Skippy. You sure you aren't one of those pirates? He demands. Do I look like a pirate? I snap back, but quickly shut my mouth and inspect myself. Do I look like a pirate? I'm wearing the same clothes as a few minutes ago when I was playing with the twins. Blue jeans, a black tee, and light gray tennis shoes. They don't seem like the right clothes for a pirate ship, but then who can say what's normal in this place, given there's a boy hovering 2 feet above me? Peter tosses the sweater at me. If you're one of his spies, you can tell your captain he'll never see the treasure, and sending girls is so beneath him. Hey! I fold my arms over my chest. I don't know any pirates. I live in an exclusive neighborhood just outside London. We have a huge, clean house, a cook and housekeeper, and every second Saturday of the month my parents give a dinner banquet for friends and business partners. No one skewers anybody with a saber there. So you admit you do know about piracy custom then? Peter accuses me. I roll my eyes in refusal of this unbelievable situation and rub my hands over my face. Slowly, Peter levitates up and down in front of me a few times, scratching his chin. Fine. Let's say you aren't a pirate. What are we to do with you then? I let out a long breath and suggest with a surge of hope, help me get back to England? Puckering his lips, he considers. Okay, we can do that. Suddenly his face lights up. Tomorrow. No, wait, I have to... But it's too late. Peter somersaults in the air and comes down to reach under my arms, cutting me off. I have no chance to escape. He lifts me up again and flies with me to the top of the tree. I scream all the way. When he lands on a thick branch, he waggles his eyebrows. Let me show you our home. Home. I try to catch a glimpse around me to make out a house somewhere close, but apart from the thick jungle, I can't see anything. And then Peter hustles me forward. What the hell? I drop down into the middle of the tree. Everything goes dark. It seems like I'm falling right through the trunk, which is outright crazy. What weird land is this? I kamikaze fall a few feet, then feel the smooth surface of a slide at my back. It turns me in a new direction. Round and round in a spiral I go down, and if this wasn't the scariest moment since I fell through the clouds, it would actually be fun. The slide leads into the center of the tree that seems even bigger from the inside. On my mad descent, I scan the tree's inferior with wide open eyes. The trunk is completely carved out. Small windows are built into the bark, and pictures are hanging on the roundabout wall. Cozy-looking sleeping booths are hewn into the sides where big branches sprout from the trunk, and rope ladders lead down from each of them. This is amazing. This is insane. The slide ends abruptly, and I'm catapulted into a trampoline. Lying spread eagle, I breathe hard and wait until the wobbling of the net stops. Geez, what a ride. Make way! I barely had time to gather myself when Peter's warning booms through the inside. A moment later, Looney, the boy with the fox fur hat that still has ears, comes sliding down my way. Peter must have lifted him to the top of the tree like me. Panicky, I crawl off the trampoline and wait until the guys have come down, one by one. Peter is the last to follow. He, of course, doesn't climb out of the trampoline, but simply glides down through the air right in front of me. Bowing deep, he sweeps his arms sideways. Welcome to the Empire of Pan. Your empire consists of an entire tree, I mock him. It is, but you haven't seen all of it yet. He wraps an arm around my shoulders and pulls me along with him. Here's where we eat when we're lucky on the rabbit hunt. The 3 seconds he grants me to look around the spacious area, dominated by a huge round wooden table with 8 tree trunk chops for chairs, hardly seem enough to take in the full beauty of this place. We walk onto a spot right behind the trampoline that's plastered with mattresses. Lots of ropes and hammocks hang around. Peter catches me unawares and pushes me forward. I land on my front on a pile of pillows and quickly roll on my back. What did you do that for? Instead of an answer, he throws the sword at me. I cover my head with my arms in self-protection. The sword lands on my belly and pushes an oof out of my lungs. It's carved from wood. Thank God it's just a toy and not a medieval one made of iron. If you want to become one of us, you have to learn how to fight, he informs me with a glint in his eyes as he pulls another wooden saber from the belt around his waist and attacks me. Like a rolled-over turtle, I try to defend myself from his blows, but each time his wooden toy hits mine, a nasty vibration rattles up my arm. I jump to my feet and parry his next blow. That was actually really good of me, I grin. But a second later, Peter somehow twists the sword out of my hand and it flies in a high arch across the room. He pushes me on my back again and places the tip of his saber to my throat. Game over. Toby catches my weapon and comes over. He pinches his nose closed and mocks me by imitating the sound of a pooping cow. Drops of his saliva spray down in a mist. That was a pathetic attempt of becoming a lost boy, Angel. I don't intend to be one. I climb to my feet and fight my way past Peter and the boy who's wearing his black hair in a ponytail with an undercut, and off the pillow and mattress nest. Peter is at my side in a second again, taking my hand to drag me on. Don't be sad. We'll practice with you every day, and soon you'll fit right in with us. Practice? Fit right in? Didn't he just hear me? I'm not going to live here, Peter. I told you that I have to find my way home. I pause. And what was that about the lost boys anyway? We can discuss it later. First, I want you to meet someone. He grins, the wooden sword still in his hand. Even though there were so many windows on my ride down here, I notice that this place is unusually dark for daylight, but tinted in a soft glow. There are no windows in this section, so I scan for the source of the light. Candles? I burst out as I shoot around to face Peter. Inside a tree? Lanterns are placed everywhere. Our shadows are dancing on the wall, and for a tiny second I think Peter's shadow is mocking me by lifting his shoulders, even though Peter himself just looks at me with his hands in his pockets. I'm getting a really bad feeling in here. Relax, Angel. Peter rolls his eyes. We might not be grown-ups, but we're not stupid. We know how to handle fire. Anyway, he changes the subject and drags me past the mattress playground towards a small door. This is Tamika's room. Let's hope she's home. Did he say room? But all this is much too big to fit into a tree. How's that possible? I stroke my palm across the wall next to the door. It's made of stone and mud. Realization begins to dawn. We are no longer inside the tree. This place is built beneath it, into the earth. What a brilliant idea! Now it's clear why they need all the candles. Peter knocks on the door, and I stand back until it opens. A thin girl, maybe 8 years old, pops her golden blonde head out. As I see her sparkling green eyes and her pointed ears peeking through the logs, I gasp. Tammy, meet Angel. Peter introduces us as Tamika emerges from her room. Angel fell out of the sky today. Seeing her full feminine figure, I clap my hands over my mouth. This is no normal child. She wears a short dress made of ivy leaves, and there's a pair of see-through butterfly wings attached to her back. Dear God, am I on some magic mushroom high? Tammy comes forward, pirouettes on her bare toes, and curtsies in front of me. Nice to meet you, Angel. Her voice sounds like Christmas bells. Did you get lost? Well, yes, I murmur, shaking her tiny elfin hand. How did you know? But considering there's a house built into a tree, Peter can fly, and she's something closer to a fairy than a human child, I shouldn't wonder, really. Tammy tilts her head and smiles like I missed the obvious. Everybody Peter brings here got lost somehow. I turn to Peter Pan with quirked eyebrows. Really? Then my gaze skates across the boys in the room. They avoid my look, tuck their hands deep into their pockets and poke their toes into the ground. All but Sparky. The stout boy just peels a banana and shoves it into his mouth, grinning and shrugging his shoulders. Neverland is cool. None of us ever want to leave again, he tells me around the banana mush. I face Peter. You brought all the guys here to live with you? Well, he sounds defensive all of a sudden as he jumps backward up onto one of the hammocks where he swings leisurely back and forth. I gave them a home when they didn't know where to go. Toby and Stan were washed up on the shore one day. Skippy was hanging in a tree when I found him, and I had to save Sparky and Looney from the clutches of Captain Hook. It was their choice to stay. There was that name again. Hook. Every time somebody mentioned that name, the boys grimaced. Who is this captain that Sparky and Looney needed to be rescued from? I want to know. Ooh, Hook is the ugliest, meanest, and scariest man in Neverland, Stan tells me with a cruel look and clawed fingers. All the others agree with enthusiastic nods. His face is scarred something awful, his nose is longer than a raven's beak, and there's a hook on his right arm. He pulls the zipper up his bare fur vest closed, as if speaking about Hook gives him chills. He's the worst pirate sailing these waters. His only aim is to steal our treasure, and he won't stop at anything to get it. He would let us all walk the plank with tight hands in a heartbeat. In fact, Peter had to save us more than once in the past. Skippy adds in a dead serious tone. Then he presses his palms over to Meeker's ears, and his voice drops to a whisper. Hook never gets tired making new plans to kidnap our little pixie and steal the map to the treasure's den. Tammy fends him off and scoffs in his face, standing on her tiptoes. You don't have to do that all the time. I'm not a baby. I know what he's after. Skippy placates her, holding his palms up. Just trying to be sensitive. You, sensitive. Ha! Peter laughs and flies out of the hammock. He smacks Skippy over his head with the toy sword. The sharks around the Jolly Roger are more sensitive than you. Skippy takes on the challenge and runs to grab another wooden weapon from the mattress playground. The lost boys holler and cheer as Peter and Skippy fight a perfect battle where neither manages to touch the other with his sword. I watch them in deep fascination until someone tugs on my hand. Turning my head, I find Tammy next to me. She sighs. He does this every time. What? Start a fight? No, they aren't really fighting, she laughs. It's just a game. Peter doesn't like us being too serious. Is Peter a lost boy too? I wonder out loud. Oh no! When she shakes her head, golden dust rains out of her hair. He's the only one who came here for a reason. He never wanted to grow up, so he ran away. Her words intrigue me, but more so does the raining gold. I catch some and rub it between my fingers. It disappears. What's this? Pixie dust. You've never heard of it? Should I have? I cock my head, then shake it. A slow grin spreads on her childish face. With the right thought in mind, it can help you fly. Fly? Like Peter? Damn if I didn't fall right into a fairy tale. I'm afraid there's no such thing where I come from. Where do you come from? A city in England. It's called London. Full of hope to get a reaction of recognition from her, I lift my brows. Ah, I see, London, she replies with a meaningful look. Anticipation kickstarts my heart. Then she puckers her lips. Never heard that name before. I grab my head between my palms and moan, frustration taking over. This can't be true. Someone here must know about my hometown. Where do the Lost Boys come from? I press then. I mean, where did they live before they got washed up on the shores of this island? The boys don't remember where they come from. Nobody knows. Tammy's voice is matter of fact. And it's better this way, too. I think if they did, they'd try to get back home. How can you say that? Of course they should try to go home. They surely have families who are missing them. The little pixie shrugs. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. When they made the choice to live here, Neverland fully embraced them. They are part of it now. You heard Sparky before. No one wants to ever leave again. She smiles a warm, welcoming smile. My heart sinks. My heart sinks, and I feel totally lost and alone. I don't want to become a part of Neverland. I want to go home to the twins and my parents. What will happen to Brittany, Renee, and Paulina without me? The fairy bugs saw me fall. They'll run down and outside. What will they do when they realize I'm no longer there, in their world? A shudder cold as the scoop of ice cream skitters down my spine. This is just too much to wrap my mind around. When I gaze at Tammy once more, I remember what he said about Peter before, about his wish to never grow up. How old is Peter? Tammy's delicate butterfly wings start to flap. She takes off from the ground, flies a circle around me, and lands on my other side, giggling. How old does he look to you? I let my attention wander back to the battling boys and study Peter Pan's face for a moment. 16? Tammy shakes her head, and more pixie dust rains down. He was 15 when he left his home and came to live in the jungle. That was a very long time ago. I rub my neck and come to the conclusion that nothing works right in Neverland. This is a seriously queer place. And all the boys have been the same age for... As long as they've been here, she finishes my sentence. Does this mean if I stay, I'll be forever 17? Yes. Heck, I don't want to be stuck in the body of a teenager for eternity. I want to grow up. And what's with the guys not remembering where they come from? What if I too forget my family one day? Racking my hands over my skull, I drag in a scared breath. Really, I can't stay here. I have to go, now. Someone places an arm around my shoulders. As I look up, I'm face to face with Peter. I told you I'm going to help you tomorrow, he assures me. It'll be dark in a couple of hours. Since you're new to the jungle, it wouldn't be a good idea for you to roam around alone at night. Peter's right, Toby backs him up. Stay for the night, eat with us, and tell us everything about you. Any information can help with getting you back on track. Through the windows, higher up in the tree, daylight's already getting dimmer. Maybe it's for the best to camp out with Peter and the Lost Boys and start my exploration early tomorrow morning. I can't do this on my own after all. Hopefully, Mom and Dad will soon be home so the twins don't panic or something terrible happens to them. With a nod, I agree and let Peter drag me to the area with the white table. Looney and Skippy start a fire in the hearth and set up something that looks like a skinned rabbit on a skewer. Obviously, we're going to eat roast bunny tonight. I wonder if this is something I'll like.